Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to connect to MariaDB through the Linux system at Napier University. This is for students on module INF 08104. So, two tools we'll be using. One is Putty and the other is an editor. I'm going to be using Notepad++, but there are plenty of others. Let's start with Putty. So, Putty allows us to connect to a Linux system, and the way you connect to this particular server is you put in your matric number 40000036, that's mine, at, and the name of the server, which is inf08104.napier.ac.uk. And if you connect from on campus, it won't ask for your password. If you're off campus, then it should prompt you for your password. So that has got me into the system, and you can see now I'm at the Linux prompt. The dollar here, this is the name of the server, my username. This is the Linux prompt, and I can type in commands, Linux commands such as ls. And that gives me a list of files. When you type in ls, you'll probably find you've only got two things. You've got this mysql.sha and you've got public HTML. And we're interested in mysql.sha at the moment. So the Linux command to see a file is cat. So I type in my and I hit tab, and it auto-completes for me, which is a handy feature. So now I can see it, and this is actually giving me the Linux command I need to enter MySQL. So I can just type that in if I want. MySQL -u 40000036 -p tiger. Notice there's no space after the p, and the account I want to enter is 4000036. So what we've got there is -u gives the username, -p is the password, and then that final thing is the account, and every student's got their own MySQL isolated account, which happens to be their matriculation number. If I put that in, then I'm now at the MySQL prompt, which is different to the Linux prompt, and the Linux commands won't work anymore, but the MySQL commands should. I think I've done this before, so I'm going to, before I start, I'm going to drop table student because I created this earlier. Okay, yeah, I created a table earlier called student, and I want to start afresh. So that's cleared out that table. If you want to see what tables you've got, you can type in show tables, and I've got loads of them. I've been creating lots of silly test tables. None of them are important. Okay, well, now we want to write some SQL commands to create some tables, and it's hard work typing at the prompt. So I usually use a text editor. I'll very often work on a Linux text editor, but some of them are quite hard to use. I'm going to use a Windows editor to start with, and Notepad++ is quite nice. You can use pretty much any editor you like, but Notepad++ is good enough. Let's start typing in some SQL. So I could create table student, open brackets. Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to save. I'm going to save this as an SQL file, and by doing that, I should get that command highlighting, syntax highlighting. So I'm going to call this mcstudent.sql. And I think I've done this before, so I'll just overwrite it, yes. Okay, and you can see I've got syntax highlighting going on now, which is quite useful. So student has got 4 fields. Yep, he's got a matric number. Matric no, and that is a char 8. It's got to be exactly 8 characters, and that's the primary key. And that's not how you spell primary. Primary key. And student's got a first name, and that can be any size up to 100 characters. And student's got last name, which again, any number of characters up to 100. And student's got a date of birth. And that's of type date. Date of birth. Okay, that's worrying. Looks like date isn't. Oh, it is. That's fine. Good. Okay, so you've put a semicolon at the end of your command in MySQL. Different engines have different policies, but semicolon is fairly common. That just means that's the end of that statement, and I should be able to run this. So the question now is, how do I get this command into MySQL? One of the easiest way to do it is copy and paste. So if I select all of that and copy, and then go to my putty prompt. Now to paste into putty, you right click. So I'm just going to right click the mouse, and it says I've got an error. Didn't like that at all. So you've got an error in your SQL syntax, blah, 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 useless error message, near varchar 100. Let's see if I can find that error. Near varchar 100, everything looks good. Oh, I didn't put a comma there. You see I missed a comma at the end of that first line. That wasn't a very good error message. I think what, I'm not going to speculate about what happened. I had an error and I put it right. Let's try again. Copy, and I'm using Alt-Tab to switch and paste, and that time it worked fine. So I've created a table. That table exists now. It should have no data in it. I can do select star from student just to see I've got no data. Okay, let's create a student. So I've created the table student. Now let's put some data in there. Insert into student values. So now I want to make up a student, and I'm going to put in the full fields 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order they appear here. So this student has got matriculation number 4000 or 1234. His first name is Billy. His second name is Bunter. And Billy Bunter is infeasibly old. He was born in the 1930s on January the 1st, as it happens. So that's my first student. And I can copy that, and I can right click paste it into MySQL. So now I'm going to use up arrow to go back to my previous command, that one there, select star from student, and you can see now I've got data in there. So we have created a table, we put some data in that table. That data of course is persistent. If I come out of MySQL and mess around with Linux and go back into MySQL, then I should find that data has survived. So the data's there pretty much forever until you delete it. So we put another student in. So I'll have another student insert into student values. Okay, so this student is 4000 1235, and this student is Harry Potter. And when was he born? His date of birth, that was probably in the 80s, I'm guessing. Let's say 1983 minus. Weirdly enough, he was born on January the 1st as well. Okay, so there's a second student. If I copy that and paste it in here, then I should have two students. And if I do select star, you can see I've got two students, Billy Bunter and Harry Potter. Fantastic. Okay, what about errors? What if, for example, I added another student with the same matriculation number? So let's try and add Harry Potter for a second time. So if I copy that and right click in here, you can see it gave me an error message, and there's a beep. I don't think you heard that, but it's a particularly unpleasant beep that I get from the system, and it says there's a duplicate entry for that because I've got a primary key, and so it refused to enter Harry Potter a second time, which is as it should be. What other sorts of things can go wrong? Let's try making up a table of modules. Create table module. Okay. Create table module, and I'll forget to put in a semicolon. So if I copy that and I paste it here, you can see because I forgot the semicolon, nothing's changed. And I'm not getting an error message, I'm just getting that rather insolent prompt with the arrow. What's happening is it's waiting for a semicolon, and I can give it the semicolon later on the next line, and I get an error message because that was rubbish syntax. That's nothing like what SQL could be. It could be worse than that. Supposing I tried to insert into table, nope, insert into student values, and let's say I want 4000 or 1236, so that's my next student, and this student is Tim O'Reilly. I'm guessing which way around the R and the I go. Tim O'Reilly, and he's an old man. He was probably born in 1960. Weirdly enough, all of these people born in January. Okay, let's try that. So I'll copy that and paste it in here. And now, I remember the semicolon. Semicolon's there, but can you see the quote in Tim O'Reilly's name? That quote there is closing this quote, which means that MySQL thinks that this is the start of a new string and that this is the start of a new string. So my odd quotes, I've got an odd number of quote marks here on this line, and the system at this stage is waiting for me to close that string that it thinks I opened here. Well, I can do that. I can close a quote later, and now I get back to the arrow prompt, and it's now waiting for a semicolon. Give it the semicolon and get the error message that I so richly deserved. Okay, and so my choice now is to fix this line. I can fix that. The correct way to fix that is to put in double quotes. So 2 single quotes there is how you escape a single quote in someone's name. So that should work now. Copy that and paste it again using right click. And I've now got even more students. There's my select star. There's my select star line. And you can see I've got all of those students. Okay, everything's working fine. In the next video, I'll show you how you can use PHP MyAdmin.